So stick around and we'll do that live. Hello, Simon. So we just a few more to join, but maybe Simon, you could kick off with a bit of a welcome to who's here.
All right, yes, I shall. Okay, I just want to say welcome everyone on this wonderful April the 1st. And as I say, I was saying earlier, we haven't got a joke for April the 1st. This is a real webinar, and Ian Sokol is the real sales manager for Juniper. And we're really excited today because he's going to introduce us to Juniper Mist AI, which is pretty exciting stuff. And I just wanted to say, just so everyone might be aware, we currently have a customer that I can't mention because we don't want to drop any bombs. But we've got a customer in the middle of a transition from Cisco to Juniper, and that's very interesting to watch from our perspective, because that customer's been a Cisco customer for a very long time. I understand we have another customer that's got an attendee in Melbourne, which is where Ian's going today. He's on his way to a really big Juniper event in Melbourne, which is exciting stuff. And he stopped off on his way to talk to us about Mist AI. Just a little thought, whoever is lucky enough to win the Sonos Move today, just want to let you know these things run best in stereo, and I will give you a better price on the second speaker if you decide to go stereo. I definitely recommend stereo. 2 others will win a $100 Prezi card, so that's exciting. And apart from that, let's get down to the serious stuff, which is Juniper Mist AI with Ian Sokol.
Thank you, Simon, and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining us on April Fools. It's really excited to be here to talk to you about Juniper Mist. I know some of you may have seen Juniper a bit in the news, which it's a big validation of kind of our technology and strategy. But what I'll do, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to share some slides, and I'm going to go into a demonstration. So just bear with me as I pull that up. And Danica, as I go through, and if there's some good questions along the way, feel free to jump in and pause and ask some questions if you feel it's an appropriate time, maybe before I move into the demonstration to close off.
Okay.
Cool. Well, guys, as I said, I'm Ian Sokol. I'm the regional sales manager for Juniper Mist. I've been with Juniper coming up just over 2 years, 2.5 years, and prior to that spent over 10 years at Cisco as well. We do have a large Juniper team in New Zealand. We've got Dave on the call as one of our Juniper system engineers. We've also got Vance in Wellington. We've got a country manager, Ken, and Carl and Caitlin, our channel managers. So we do have local presence in New Zealand and have been there for quite some time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do done the intros, we'll do a quick overview, and we'll get into a demonstration, and then we've got questions and prizes at the end. And it's not April Fools, the prizes are real. But just to cover off something that some of you may have seen in the news with Hewlett Packard or HPE looking to acquire Juniper, been trying to acquire it. I think we've had our own documented troubles with the trying to get past the regulators, but regardless, I think it's a really cool validation of our real technology and strategy and why it's all happening. And the big thing is HP is trying to buy Juniper for $14 billion. The big thing to note is why it's all happening. It's pretty much all about AI, and really, if you look under the hood, the crown jewel is Mist, and they specifically call that out. The other really cool piece of news, if this acquisition goes ahead, is that Rami Rahim, who is currently the Juniper CEO, he will now be leading the combined networking business within HPE. So essentially, Aruba and the HPE networking arm will be reporting to the Juniper CEO. So just to kind of give you direction, it's pretty exciting. It's been approved by all the regulators. They're going to court to get it done. But I think regardless, I think it's a really cool story, really cool validation of really our technology and strategy. But really, if you look under the hood, what's this Mist all about, and where did it come from? And it's really the heritage of Mist, which is pretty exciting, and you'll find a lot of Cisco people here. But Mist was actually, if you didn't know the story of Mist, it was actually originally a Cisco and Google startup. It was actually founded in 2014 by these two gentlemen, Sujay and Bob. If you don't know of Bob, he's a very famous man in Silicon Valley. He is known as the godfather of Wi-Fi. His company was the first company Cisco ever bought in to get into the Wi-Fi game. So I know some of you may be around and may be familiar with the Cisco wireless LAN controller or the Cisco AirNet access points. Bob built all of that for Cisco in the 2000s. And while Bob was running the Cisco network business with Sujay, they both were the key sponsors and the executives that bought Meraki. And so they kind of built Generation 1 networking with on-premise with wireless LAN controllers. They're the ones that bought Meraki for Cisco. They ran the network business. They ran that for a few years, and both really smart guys. And they looked under the cover of both Meraki and the traditional Cisco on-premise portfolio, and they go, you know what? We can do this so much better. So in 2014, they got a blank piece of paper and they go, you know what? I'm going to build a brand new network architecture from scratch. And Bob was a big visionary, and he had this vision of an AI-driven network in 2014. So before all the marketing hype and all the buzz. And so to do that, he got a whole bunch of money from two people, Cisco and Google. And the reason why Google was interested was Bob's vision on building an AI-driven network. So fast forward to 2019, Juniper acquires Mist. In 2019, Juniper was a 90% service provider company, some of the likes of the Sparks, the 1s and 2 degrees of the world. Fast forward to just when the acquisition was announced last year, within 4.5 years, Juniper has transformed an organization that from just less than 5 years ago, 90% of their business was to service providers. Now that more than half of Juniper's business is in the enterprise. That's how much this Mist platform has transformed Juniper as an organization, and hopefully paints a picture why HP is interested to pick up Juniper due to its growth for enterprise customers. But that's all pretty cool, but what is all Mist all about? So Mist is a cloud managed platform with a single pane of glass to deliver Wi-Fi, switching, SD-WAN, network access control, so that's equivalent of an Aruba ClearPass or a Cisco ICE, and data center management, all in the cloud, all in a single pane of glass. And we're not just collecting telemetry on network elements and managing network devices. Our big difference is our AI, but also collecting device around and visibility around what we call user experience. So why is Ian having a bad network experience? What can we do to improve it? And measuring all those steps and those SLAs. So this will make a lot more sense when I get to the demonstration, but really it's around context, around measuring user experience and network services and correlating that together. Some of you may be familiar with the Gartner Magic Quadrant. What I love, what this slide represents is really the story of how far we've come out of nowhere. So as I said, in 2018, we're still a startup, a niche player. In 2019, we became a visionary according to Gartner. And look how quickly we became the leader. And this is for Wi-Fi and switching, and become the leader of leaders for the last 4 years, recognized the clear leader in Wi-Fi and switching. And not only are we the top right leader, according to Gartner, for Wi-Fi and switching, we are the only networking vendor that's in the top right leaders quadrant for what they call indoor location-based services. So those use cases are tracking people or things, or safety and security use cases, or in schools, maybe visitors, in retailers, maybe tracking your Zebra scanners, or in healthcare, maybe tracking dementia patients, down to a meter of accuracy. So really, really highly accurate indoor asset tracking or use cases. So it's not for everyone, but it's a pretty cool capability. Well, all this is great, but really, what does it really come down to? What are the really 4 key reasons why so many customers, both in New Zealand and Australia and globally, are moving to Mist? These are the really 4 key elements. Number 1, it's client level visibility. Our platform's designed to ingest vast amounts of data. So we're baselining every user and everything every minute on our platform. In the Mist dashboard, you'll essentially set up something like looks like a network SLA. We track and we baseline every user every minute to make sure they're having a fantastic experience. And if they're not, we'll tell you how we can improve it. Number 2, you'll see a lot of marketing AI out there with lots of networking vendors. But you can't just stick AI on a legacy platform. It's not designed for it. AI is all about data and compute. And if you have not architected your system designed to ingest vast amounts of data, you can't really deliver anything useful with AI. This was architected from scratch to deliver it. And we'll tell you and provide you recommendations how to optimize your network and reduce your networking tickets. This AI is real. It's all about reducing tickets and noise and the system self-adjusting or providing recommendations how to improve your network services. Now, this is all great, but how do we actually architecturally deliver this? So I spent a lot of time at Cisco, and there's some really good vendors out there, and yes, there's some generation one cloud-based vendors. But the reality is the Meraki's of the world and others of the world built their platform in the early 2000s. There was no really AWSs of the world. And if you look under the hood, they're essentially a big monolithic application hosted in the cloud and just virtualized for customers. And that's very hard. Monoliths, as you know, are very hard to develop against and code against. So we run what we call a microservices cloud. That's the same way that Facebook, Google, and Netflix build their cloud applications. What it means for you as a customer is that every 2 to 3 weeks, you're getting fortnightly or every 3 weeks production updates and innovation with zero downtime. Our ability to innovate is second to none. We have such agile development methodology. Like the first year was Wi-Fi, then it was switching, then it was SD-WAN, then it was NAC. Our ability to bring new features and innovation to our customers is second to none. And no one comes close to our ability to innovate and develop in our platform. So that's a huge architectural difference because it's the software game now that we're in. And lastly, we have a very unique capability around Bluetooth and asset tracking, as I mentioned before. So that's tracking people or things via Bluetooth down to 1 meter of accuracy. So it might be tracking your Zebra scanners. It may be tracking insensitive assets. It may be tracking maybe visitors coming into a school, an all-girls school, as an example, making sure they're not going to sensitive areas. All possible use cases, just depends who you are. That's pretty exciting. So I'll see if there's any question in the chat a bit later on. So really, what does it mean for customers? From a rollout perspective, I can guarantee you'll never roll out a quicker platform than ours. On all of our devices, whether it be our access points, our switches, our SD-WAN devices, we have a little QR code, a sticker, an individual unique sticker on each of those boxes. All you need to do is pre-configure your configs in the cloud. You send the device to site. You may have an installer or an electrician that's on, or just a contractor that comes and does the rollout for you. All they need to do is take a photo of the QR code with our installer app, and the device is up and running under a minute. It's that quick and easy. We've rolled out, Walmart's a big customer, they roll out 5,000 devices a day with that same process. And we've done this in universities and schools. It's really that easy. I will tell you, we have the fewest tickets. Even our radio resource management is completely AI driven. As you know, Wi-Fi is a dark art, and you may have done a site survey at a point in time, but things change. You may have a neighbor come in and your RF changes. In our platform, you do not need to touch the radio resource management. We are in the harshest RF environments, from the Tesla factories to all the Amazon warehouses, all the robots running around. They do not touch the radio resource management. They let the AI do its thing. It self-tunes, self-heals, and self-adjusts to give you the best wireless experience. I have had a lot of engineers that want to try to do channel planning and try outsmart the AI. I'm yet to see one succeed. I go for it. You can manually do it if you like, but my advice is just let the AI do its thing. It is good. And lastly, from an operational perspective, you never have to have a user recreate an issue from a troubleshooting perspective. Our platform collects so much data and telemetry, it'll tell you what's going on. But not only that, we'll do automatic pack captures. And when the moment we see a bad event, you'll do an automatic pack. We have an automatic pack capture, right? So that whole troubleshooting compass and process, trying to figure out the finger pointing exercise, all of that goes away. There's so much more visibility. We're moving Juniper Mist down to the packet captures because the packets don't lie, to prove the network team innocence. A lot of the time, the network teams gets blamed for a lot of things. Maybe the application is slow, but they never have the evidence to defend the network. Now they do with Juniper Mist. Just to talk about innovation, this is something we released late last year. It's called Marvis Spinnies, a really cool piece of technology. How do you know that when you've done an add, move, or change on a network overnight that you haven't broken anything? How do you know that all your services are up, all your network and all your applications are working before your shop opens up? How do you know that everything's all good before you're sitting with tests in a school? So meet Marvis Minis. This is no hardware at all. It's all in software in our access points. It's automatically testing for application reachability, DNS, ARP, making sure all your key critical services are working even when no one is on the network. We call it a digital twin. You don't have to tell it what to do. You don't have to tell it what to look at. It'll sit there and it actively learns based on the AI on the typical day-to-day activity of your network, and it'll constantly probe and proactive service assurance and checking that all things are working, even when from every time you've done an ad move or change, or periodically every hour, it's just automatically going to test things to make sure all your things are working. And if not, it's going to proactively notify you, even down to packet capture, to let you know before users come on site that you have an issue. So all of this is just proactive. The concept here, it's all about proactive service assurance, leveraging the power of AI. Another cool innovation, again, we released early last year, is our cloud-based NAC. So this is the ability to do edited at 1x out of the cloud. Our switches and access points speak this natively with RADSec. We integrate with third-party directories like Azure or Okta or Microsoft Identity Stores. So we can say all your corporate users go into these VLANs, your guest users go there. It allows you to make network access control policies based on who they are. So this is really good for BYOD. This is really good about deploying certificates on corporate-based devices and tracking them. We also support third-party devices as well. So they don't all have to be Juniper. We can support third-party infrastructure with our cloud-based NAC. This is a really hot capability because everyone else is on-premise, and NAC projects are hard and complex. This NAC is really simple and easy. It's about 5 clicks and you've got a NAC service. It's that quick. It's that easy. No, you don't have to worry about redundancy. It just works and it's extremely scalable. And we integrate with MDM like Microsoft Intune or Jamf for Apple as an example, and more to come. So really, really cool, exciting piece of technology that customers are just loving because they want to improve their security posture. NAC does a great job in that. Just some cool customer quotes. One of my favorite ones is ServiceNow. ServiceNow is a big customer. As you know, they're a ticketing company. They love metrics, stats, and data. They had a 90% reduction in support tickets. Gap used to be a huge Meraki reference customer. Moving to Mist, they had an 85% reduction in site visits. At the end of the day, it's a really awesome piece of technology. We have a lot of happy customers. We're at a good price point. And I think we're really disrupting the market as well. So before I move to the demo, just to let you know, all our devices are interoperable. We have a whole large portfolio of access points, switches, SD-WAN and WAN devices, and our cloud-based NAC, which is our access assurance capability. Again, all of these devices are interoperable. Again, Mist can only run on Juniper infrastructure, just to be clear. We can see some telemetry with our AI on third party, but of course we can't manage it. But really, to get the power and the benefits of Mist, you want to get everything into the Juniper Mist ecosystem. Hopefully that sets the scene a bit before I move into the demonstration, but I might just pause there and see, Danica, are there any questions in the chat before I move to a demo?
Yes, we do have a question. Is the NAC included or an additional add-in? Are the authentication methods, e.g. Azure, SSO, included or extra?
So the NAC is a separate service. We do have some multi-pre-shared keys in just the base Wi-Fi license, but to get the full SSO and integrate Azure, it is a separate service, and it's actually at a pretty sharp price point. It actually works best for kind of the sub. It's a really good price point, and it's a separate service. Yep. Cool. Any other questions, or that's it?
One more's popped up. With the HPE acquisition, will existing Aruba hardware be compatible with Mist?
I get this question a lot. So the answer is today, the only things that work on Mist is Juniper. I've been at Cisco, I saw lots of acquisitions. I can tell you this. It took Juniper over 4 years to get the Juniper existing EX switches to work on Mist. It takes a lot of time in engineering work. So today, the only things that work on Mist is Juniper infrastructure. I can't speculate for the future, but it takes a lot of time to get there. If you like Aruba and the Aruba is working for you, buy Aruba. But if you want the best cloud native and the most capable platform today, there's nothing better than Juniper Mist that can deliver it. But there are plenty of life cycle and all those, and we're interoperable, of course. But yeah, today it's just Juniper Mist infrastructure, and spent a lot of time to get it where it is today. Hopefully that answers the question.
That's the end of the questions for now. Thanks, Ian.
Awesome. Okay, so let me get my let's try this. Okay, I'm guessing you guys can see the Mist dashboard, hopefully.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So as I said before, this platform is designed, we can manage Wi-Fi. You can see here, we can manage switching, which is wired, and SD-WAN. And even just to show you innovation, we've just released something around applications. So we have really cool integration with Teams and Zoom. And I'll showcase that a bit later on. But what I'm going to focus on the Wi-Fi because it's more of an interesting demo. But the same concept applies to across all our devices, whether it be switching and WAN. I talked about a lot about network SLAs. We call them service level experiences. It's about measuring user experience. And in our platform, we have these what we call network SLAs or user experiences out of the box, where you're able to customize these goals per site or per organization, however you like. You've got complete flexibility how you want to change these metrics. So in our platform, I have a network SLA that I want my users to connect within 2 seconds, right? Now, to deliver the best wireless experience, it's very important to measure these key metrics. How long it takes users to connect. Are they connecting successfully? What's their coverage? What's their roaming? What's their throughput? What's their capacity? And what's their AP health? These are the most important metrics to measure to deliver the best wireless experience. And as I said in my demo environment here, I had a network SLA that when I want my users to connect to the network within 2 seconds. And as you can see here, 94% of people have hit the network within 2 seconds. But the question is, what is impacting the user experience for the 6% of people that took longer than 2 seconds? Now, it's not 6% of people didn't get on the network. It is of the 6%, you can see 1% had authorization issues, 86% had association issues, and 14% of them had DHCP issues. So automatically you have context around what is impacting the user experience for those 6% of people. And of course, you've got the same concept applies to all the different metrics I measured before with all the corresponding subclassifiers. Now, if I want to drill in on the time to connect SLA, I can now click at, all right, well, 86% are having association issues. I want to click on association and see what's going on. So now I start to get some really interesting statistics and insights. I start to see a timeline of when there's association issues occurred. I start to see a distribution of those association issues. Maybe there are certain access points. Maybe they're affecting only certain OS devices because this could be a smoking gun to a client-specific issue, not a network issue. Maybe they're on different device types. Are they on certain wireless bands? More importantly, who are those individuals? Now, at this point, no one has rated an IT ticket. No one's pinged you on Teams or harassed you, but you've got a proactive view of people having a bad day on the network. And of course, I can see where they're located on a floor plan as well. Now, if I click back on those affected users, I now can go and click in on an individual user. So right now, you're looking at a high level, site level. You proactively identified a bunch of people having a bad day on the network. I can click on this Everest 4 client here as an example. I've now gone from a site level down to an individual client. And as you can see, I've got a nice plain English summary in what is going on with client Everest. And you can see he's got some time to connect issues and some successful connect issues. And what you'll find is that as I go through this, you'll find that AI speaks a lot of things in plain English. So what you do tend to find is that level 1 engineers start to tackle networking tickets. And this is a direct quote from multiple customers. It makes my level 1 engineer act like a 2.5, and the AI helps my level 2 engineer act like a level 3. So what you find is you start to have service desks start to tackle networking issues, tickets with the help of AI. So now, just to give you an idea, I've got a plain English summary of Everest as issue. And now I can click on this View Insights page to get and have a look what's going on with Everest. So as I said, the platform's designed to collect vast amounts of data and telemetry. And we're collecting lots of events. So I'm seeing good events, bad events, and negative events. So I'm capturing lots and lots of data. Right, so I'm looking at the individual client, and if you can see, every time we see the little paperclip here, you'll have a really good description of that event. So it looks like a pre-shared key mismatch or failure, but more importantly, you've got the pack capture there to prove it. So we're always capturing, it's a lot of data. There's only 7 days of pack captures there. There's obviously no payload there, just headers and footers. It's on a 7-day rotating buffer. You can obviously export them with APIs if you're interested in it. But again, you've got the detail there. You never have to have a user recreate an issue from a troubleshooting perspective. We're collecting so much data and telemetry as well. We actually have very good integrations with Teams, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom. Just zoom out for a little bit there. So, you know, one of the big main complaints as networking professionals, and I guess I'm sure this is in the top 3, is that people go, oh, the network's bad because someone had a bad Teams or Zoom call. So given our integration with Teams and Zoom, I can tell you and you can see there, I've got audio in, screen share. I can tell you very quickly, is it the issue on the Teams application? Is it the issue on your network? Or maybe the user or the client was downloading a 4 gig file while they're on a Teams call, and that's why they had a bad experience. So again, you now have the evidence or the visibility to have the network team be proven innocent, right? And not wasting times chasing rabbit holes. And even we have the integration, even this year hasn't got it there, but you can even get the 5-star rating as well in the back of every Teams call. All that information is going to be populated here as well. So you're getting all that feedback and all that metrics coming in. Again, there's lots of information, you know, pre-connection, post-connection, and even really good roaming visualizations as well. So we can see, you know, that's usually quite a hard thing to troubleshoot. We can easily see where you're having bad roams and maybe your DBs are dropping, which is really cool, a really good way to visualize it. So that's just a sneak peek of what we just really have in our base license offering. Obviously, there's a lot of AI there, and can you do a lot of that, which is pretty cool. I'll pause there and see, Danica, any questions on the chat?
No new ones for now.
Cool. Awesome. So let's go and look at some cool new AI. Some additional stuff. So some of you may have heard of Marvis. So Marvis is what we call our virtual network assistant. And the big difference between, you know, Marvis and ChatGPT, and you'll see a bit later on, is ChatGPT has been trained on internet data. Marvis has been trained on network data since 2014. And Marvis is really, really cool. This is an optional extra. But as you know, in infrastructure monitoring, we have a lot of alerts and alarms. And if you alert an alarm on everything, you alert an alarm on nothing because people ignore it and don't know what to focus their time on. So what this AI is really good at removing the false positives and just showing your teams where you need to spend your time to optimize your network services to deliver the best user experience for your users. Now, this is a demo environment. There's not usually 103 actions. It's designed to look poor with lots of bad things to demonstrate. But in your environment, you'll hopefully have 0, 1, or 2 things. So what we will call this is a bit like a cup of coffee with you in the morning, where you may come in as a network professional, your service desk comes in and checks, is there anything to recommend that the AI is telling me to do? So this AI is so powerful, I can tell you down to a layer 1 issue that you have a bad cable in your network that's impacting user experience. I can't tell you how many times I've done a proof of concept. I'll say it's probably 1 in 3 where this comes up, and I've had this intermittent issue for years, and the whole time it's been a bad cable, and the AI is absolutely right. It's pretty damn accurate. It's really, really cool. This AI, and by the way, I can pick that up on third-party hardware as well. This AI is so powerful, I can tell you that you've got missing VLANs and anomalies on your switches that's impacting user experience that you need to go and have a look at. From the access points, you've got coverage holes and insufficient capacity, then again, you need to go and have a look at that's impacting your users. From a connectivity perspective, you've got DHCP and ARP and DNS issues. Now, what I want to say here, this is not thresholding. This is baselining. The worst day the AI is going to be day 1 because it has to understand and learn about your network. And over time, it's going to refine and understand what is normal behavior for a network, and it's going to alert to the abnormalities, because it's normal to have a certain amount of authentication failures. But what is not normal is when there's a huge deviation from normal and there's a big spike. So that's what you want to be alerted to. You don't want to be alerted to every authentication failure, because that is normal. But when there's a huge spike, that's a smoking gun. That's something to have a look at. So obviously, as an example here, that's probably a normal amount. But when there's now it's tripled or quadrupled, probably want to have a look at that. That might be a good smoking gun for a bigger, wider issue. Now, that's really cool. And of course, you have actioning and tickets here that you can do. There's also lots of automation here with ITSM systems at ServiceNow, should that be of interest. A lot of large customers do that. Now, a lot of you may be familiar with ChatGPT. So meet Marvis in the bottom right-hand corner. This is your conversational assistant. So think of this as your 24/7 CCIE that never asks for a pay rise or a coffee break. He's always there monitoring, always there to help. And you can come in and this whole concept, which you can hopefully appreciate, is allowing you to be much more proactive from a service assurance perspective. Again, you can come in every morning with your cup of coffee and just type in who are my unhappy users on the network, as an example. Type in unhappy users. And again, it'll go and have a look, and it'll go, right, these are all the people having a bad day. There's that Everest 4 client we had earlier. Troubleshoot client Everest 4. And again, those are those authentication failures he's been having, right? Because of the incorrect passwords. Again, you click on that, follow the process. Looks like he's failed to do a bunch of things. What's the recommendation? So hopefully what you can see here is that it's a guided workflow for your level 1 or level 2 engineers to go through a troubleshooting process. So it doesn't have to always hit the networking experts in your team. And again, you can click on the client insights page as well to go straight into down to the pack capture levels and all those events that we had earlier, which I showed for Everest, if you want to get into that level of detail, should you need to. Alternatively, if someone called the help desk, maybe Everest did call the help desk, you can just put the same workflow and say, what, troubleshoot this client, and you have the same process. Again, so someone called the help desk, you can just go troubleshoot the client, and again, you get a guided workflow, which is pretty cool. You can do other things in Ask Marvis, other questions like, what is EVPN VXLAN as an example? And again, it's that ChatGPT style experience where we'll actually go and spit you out what is EVPN VXLAN as an example, but more importantly, links you to the Juniper documentation how to go and do EVPN VXLAN in Mist. So you can ask, how do I do sorts of things in Mist and other things, which is really cool. Quite powerful. Again, there's another face of Marvis, which is Marvis Minis. I talked about that proactive monitoring. As I said, we're constantly checking for DHCP, ARP, DNS, and application reachability. You can even put custom application URLs as well. It does learn a bunch of things, but you can also add a couple of prompts to it. This is only getting better and better. So again, this is that proactive service assurance. You can have it go every hour. You can have it go every half an hour, whatever you like, or anytime you do an add move change, it's running a Marvis Minis visual twin test to make sure you haven't broken anything on your network. I know there were some questions before for the NAC, so I want to show you that we have a really simple cloud-based network access control. So that's the equivalent of a Cisco ICE or a Rubrik ClearPass, but our NAC is really much done in 4 clicks. We integrate with Active Directory. So you just add your IDP, whether it be Okta or Azure, to understand who's who from a corporate perspective. You also can integrate with MDM for if you want to do certificates. So we integrate with like Intune or Jamf for checking posture or compliance on laptops or devices, to making sure that they are compliant with the latest AV as an example, and then making decisions. Put them in the corporate VLAN or maybe not put them in a quarantine VLAN. Should they need to do some things that aren't compliant. We can then put certificates on devices. You can use ours or bring your own, import your own, and then you start to build up your policies, right? Who can talk to who on the network. They're allowed access. You can start to make some rules. So Yeah, this is really good for your IoT devices, corporate devices, and saying who in your Active Directory is allowed to access what resources, and then follow the rules if not. And of course, you can make your labels that helps you customize your rules. It's literally that simple, that easy. All in the one single pane of glass. One big issue with NAC is that, if you and whoever has gone and played with NAC extensively in the past, is if you go to your Wi-Fi platform, it'll tell you that you're either on the NAC or you're off the NAC, and it won't tell you what the issue is. Maybe the person in the wrong Active Directory, maybe there's someone else. The big difference is here is that it's all in the one system. So all your NAC alerts and NAC events come up in the same insights page as I had before under an end user. So all your NAC events appear in the same area here as a client events for Wi-Fi. So it's all in the one same area as an example, which is quite powerful. Now, I don't know if I want to go much deeper than this. I just kind of wanted to highlight the really cool capabilities. And again, I'm not going to show how to demonstrate setting up networks. We do things in a templated approach. It's very scalable. But I just wanted to kind of highlight the differences we have from a run perspective, from a run perspective of managing things through Juniper Mist. So again, we have Wi-Fi, we have switching, which can be managed WAN, and applications as well. So I'll just show that because that's a cool recent innovation where we're tracking the user experience for Teams and Zoom, and there's a lot more innovation of this to come. Think about other applications that we may be measuring and monitoring in the future. So I'll just pause there, see if there are any questions in the chat, but I don't think I want to go into anything else. I'll just pause there and we can go into the Q&A and potentially a prize draw.
Okay, we have got a couple more questions. What future advancements in AI-driven networking can we expect from Juniper in the next 5 years?
That's a big question. Look, there's lots of innovation coming. I think from what I know, there's a lot more happening around this application space. Lots of innovation from products. We've just released a new switching portfolio. We're doing some really cool stuff around SD-WAN. It's a big question, but there's lots of R&D and innovation in this space to come. I probably can't talk so much roadmap-y stuff. It's probably not appropriate here, but watch this. There's lots to come.
Okay, is there an audit log for any changes across the system?
Yes, there is. Yeah, everything's logged and audited, correct.
Okay, I might bring everyone off mute and you are welcome to turn your cameras on and we'll draw some prizes. Okay, everyone's been enabled there.
I just want to say thank you for that, Ian. There's a lot of firepower built into Juniper these days, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it is. I think it's really not the Juniper of old that people have probably had a familiarity with in the market. It's really come around and done a full 360. It's pretty cool. The technology is awesome. The leadership is awesome. And yeah, there's lots of innovation to come. So it's an exciting journey to be a part of. And thank you for everyone jumping on today.
That's cool. I just thought I'd take 10 seconds to introduce everyone to a little concept. So we now at Acquire have capability to provide assistive professional services, cost of change analysis, Juniper pre-sales assistance, transitional and install services. We can even do managed services, both baseline and token-based services. And we can also help customers sell out old kit they don't want anymore. So this is a new services capability we have, and if we were to think who might be doing that for us, it might be someone very close to Juniper, and that's HPE, which is quite exciting for everyone. Just thought I'd let you know. Anyone, we'll probably be putting up some pages to describe our additional services very soon, but just let you know we can help you with any transition to Juniper, which is really exciting.
That's awesome, Simon. And if anyone did find the content today to be exciting, we can absolutely do a trial, a proof of concept, a pilot. So just engage with the Acquire team. They've got the capability, they've got the skills. They're a really good, safe pair of hands. We've already got some customers together, we'll be there on the journey. We've got local engineering support from the Juniper team in New Zealand as well to be part of that journey. So feel comfortable to, if you have a life cycle event, you might have a refresh, or maybe you have a new building or a new office. That might be an opportunity to at least do a trial, and maybe not the rest of the network's up, but at least you start to have a feel for of the art of the possible, what the future could be like. So just reach out. It's, as long as you just invest a little bit of time with us, and I guarantee it'll be worthwhile. It's a really cool piece of technology, and it's a real game changer, I find, to the network industry.
Cool.
Thank you, Ian. Shall we draw some prizes?
Shall we? I guess you know how that works.
I will take over the screen. Can everybody see that?
Sure can.
You can? Okay. So we'll start with some Visa Prezi cards. We've got $100 Visa Prezi cards. We've got 2 of them. So we'll start with that. Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, next Visa Prezi. Congratulations, Eileen.
Awesome.
And to add to your sound system, we now have the Sonos Move. Ooh, it's close. Congratulations, Reese.
Right, Reese, come to me for the price on the second one.
I will reach out to our winners post-webinar and get your contact details.
Cool. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
It's great. Oh, isn't that nice, Reese? Okay. Have a great day, everyone, and thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone, and feel free to reach out if there are any questions. Thank you. Thanks, Acquire, and everyone for coming to say.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thank
Ian.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey.